like we are live for the first time ever on YouTube and with doing something live on a new platform for the first time. We have technical issues here and there. So it was supposed to be live at 8 o'clock. It's 8:25, a little bit late, but if we do see people kind of coming on and talking, then we'll kind of incorporate what you guys are saying into the discussion. So right now you guys are seeing just me on the screen. I've got Kelly Good who's going to come on with me in just a second, and obviously we're in some weird times. We've been in some weird times since March. For some people it's been a little easier than for others, but the fitness industry's been hit pretty hard by all of this, right? Gyms are closing. Well, they have been closed in some states. They're finally starting to reopen, but gyms still in Canada, they're pretty much closed all the way around. In Europe, a lot of the gyms are closed. In most of the states, they're still closed. People are just feeling a little bit, down and unmotivated in some cases. But I'm hoping that this interview gives you guys a little bit of inspiration. We sent a mass email to our database just last week, I believe, with some videos and just trying to get people, kind of pumped up, because at the end of the day, everything is going to come back. Gyms are going to be online again. Shows will be back. We'll get to be close to each other again, and it's just a matter of staying motivated and pumped in the meantime. And unless anything crazy happens, we are still planning for our shows in fall, and that's kind of where I'm going to lead into Kelly coming on, because Kelly is a 3-time UFE pro champion, and that's kind of history making in itself, because there's only 3-time champions in UFE history and 1 4-time champion. And Kelly, along with another one of our UFE pros, Mike James, they're both looking to make history this year. But out of those 2, only one, Kelly, has committed. She's already signed up. She's ready to go, and she seems motivated. So I just want to kind of get into her mind a little bit and see what insight she has, and maybe that'll help those of you who are kind of unsure about the fall events, kind of like, what the heck do I do with all this? I got nothing to train with. So without further ado, let me bring Kelly on. Just a second. All right, there she is. And Kelly, I see her walking around to try and get some better cell service, so we'll do the best we can. Kelly is currently in the mountains in Arizona, so we'll see how the technology works and the cell service. But let's do the best we can. So first of all, Kelly, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here a second time. I was very happy that you asked me to come back. I consider it an honor that you guys even consider anything that I have to say. So, hi.
Absolutely, and yeah, I do. I think you've got some amazing insights. So you're in Arizona, and when did you get to Arizona?
Actually, so I've been back and forth numerous times. I don't even know what count, to be honest, I'm at anymore. For family issues, my mom got ill and then passed, so I've been having to come and go. I've been back in Arizona this time around a little over a week, and I was so delighted when I got here that the gyms were open and I found some places to go to. And so that was, a really good, nice motivator, obviously, this week. But my gym that I work at is closed in Chicago, as well as every other gym, mostly anywhere in the not so warm areas. The virus isn't surviving very well here, thankfully. The temperature today was 106 degrees. So, yeah, so it's been really nice to have, one, the change in atmosphere. I've been running and doing hill sprints like in these mountains, and the altitude is, it's just everything is, it's amazing to have that change of atmosphere. So, I try to find the silver lining in what's happening with my life. And so I'm just really actually grateful that my mom did choose to get treatment and my dad's still here in this really amazingly beautiful place. Even though it was really hot, it's not like humid. So it's actually tolerable when it comes to trying to, go outside. So
it is nice. Arizona is one of those few states where gyms are open back up. I think I've heard in Florida, but where you're from, in Illinois and Michigan, nothing's open. But at least I hope all you guys in Canada and Michigan, Illinois, and all those other states, I hope you guys kind of get a little bit of hope that yes, stuff will open, and there are a few states already kind of leading the way. So, so it is nice being in Arizona at this point, but really you haven't been able to consistently, have that gym setting. So you actually committed to competing as things were starting to heat up with the whole pandemic. I don't know exactly when you registered, but we were hearing about it. We were hearing about the dangers of stuff closing down, and sure enough, they did. So, being at the level of fitness you are, being a 3-time champion, why even bother this year?
Well, there came a point in my competitive career where when I decided that I wanted to commit to doing this, I realize I'm a bodybuilder regardless of if we have a competition or not. I compete against who I was last year in many different ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in my career, in my relationships. My goal is to constantly be and do better and grow. And so whether you have a competition or not, a competition, a wedding date, or anything else is a really awesome incentive to obviously drive the motivation. However, I feel like the character is made when nobody's actually watching and when the pressure isn't on, because it's what you do on the days that you don't want to go do these things. You don't have the motivation to follow through. That really is the most important and the most developing to your character. You go through that motion and you make it your lifestyle and you live that lifestyle and you love that lifestyle. And so regardless of whether the competition happens or not, I'm not going to change the way that I live. And so, my goal in signing up was one, I wanted to be accountable to my own dreams and goals, which I never dreamed that I would say I won world championship, much less to say 3. And so I used to put myself in a box and not live up to what I thought my potential was or who I thought I could be. And so every year I try to find ways to hold myself accountable. And this was a goal that I had. And regardless if we have it this year or next year, I knew I wanted to compete and win that 4th title, just for myself to say that I did it. And so whether you guys have enough competition this year to be able to, have the quality of show that we hope that we can have, or we need to push it off, one, I still believe in my organization. You guys still need my membership dues. You still need my support. How you started this organization was from nothing, and you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into this. And if we don't support what we believe in, then it's not going to succeed. It's not going to continue to flourish. So one, regardless if the competition happens this year or not, I want you guys to have my commitment and my money and show that I am standing behind you, and I want you guys to thrive because you deserve it. So whether I compete this year, roll in, and it just helped me to, in my off season, remember now that I have this, I have people who count on me and who look up to me for advice, and I want to be the person that I say I am in front of everybody. My yes is my yes, my no is my no. I want to follow through with it. If I happen to fail, then I learn and I grow through it. So, pandemic or not, mom sick or not, there's always going to be a reason not to compete. There's always going to be something, always. Every single year, every single situation, we can always find a reason to not do something if we look for it. But I like to believe in hope and faith and love and try to keep that positive energy going, because otherwise it will fizzle out, and it's very easy, to keep the energy up when there is something to give you motivation. But I believe the real champion is made when there isn't anything around to push you. So
I think you're right on that, and everybody does face obstacles, and you've faced obstacles that are individual to you this year, with your mother and everything like that. And I think the only real difference in this is that with this whole coronavirus thing, we're all facing an obstacle together. So that is a difference, and I think I think it's a really cool message that we've just all got to try and overcome the best we can together. It's not really anyone's individual challenge. We've all got something that's going on as a result of this, whether it's only a closed gym or whether it's a loved one's been touched by it, or whether we're losing our job. Like, it's we're all kind of in this particular challenge together. So I like your insights there, Kelly.
Right.
So obviously, the gyms are closed. You're getting a nice respite from gym closures being in Arizona there. But again, most of us have been affected by that, and it has affected our ability to train in their normal ways. What have you done to adapt to this situation, right? Because you still want to bring your best to the stage. What are you doing to adapt to it?
Well, when this whole thing happened, I'm really a little OCD about my own training and things. Even when I do have a coach, I'm very involved in my own nutrition and training, and I like to question why I'm giving things, because I want to learn from them, so that way if somebody else asks, I can give them adequate education and information. However, when this whole thing happened and my gym closed down, I had ordered obviously some things online on Amazon, and we had went on to Facebook and found some, swap giveaway, whatever, sell your used stuff to try to build up our at-home gym. We obviously had no idea how long the extent of the closures were going to happen. So there were still some things that we don't have, and I think it happens a lot in traumatic situations, whether, even if it's just a life stressor change situation. You're getting married, right? It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of angst to try to have control over every single little possible situation and what you're going to do. So we end up kind of just getting frozen in fear, and we're trying to take it all in and figure out what the heck's going on. And usually it can keep us very complacent and keep us from making any growth or forward or situation. And think just with what we have, right? So I had at the gym a few years ago. When I got closed, I actually had bought equipment from there. So one trainer that I had planned, my trainer that was going to be in the gym, and I looked at what I could do with the equipment that I had. Leg extensions with bands, doing, a lot of banded work, a lot of resistance, changing it to time under tension, allowing myself to still try to have a progressive overload, but in different ways now. Working on different eccentric or concentric contractions, timed movements, working for time, as many reps as possible. There's just so much ways that we can allow ourselves to train. As bodybuilders, obviously, we do have a specific way that we kind of tend to stay training to build, but really the vastness of the types of exercises that we can do between the different modalities are endless. So you just gotta let yourself get creative and be okay with the fact that you might not know what you're doing at first, and it might be as heavy on the weights, especially for the guys, right, that you were lifting before. But as soon as you put your body into different ranges of motions or positions that your body hasn't been used to, it's an added challenge. And so if you can kind of just get creative, go back to your roots, have some fun, it's a really good opportunity to actually explore and play and see what your body is capable of, see what your body may have been lacking in your training, because we do a lot of the same repetitive motion or muscle groups at times, push-pull exercises, and we can get some imbalances. So working on agility, working on your endurance, working on your your isolations and things like that. That's how we get an athlete. Now, I definitely have lost some size from not being able to lift as heavy, but there's still a progressive overload there. And time off and rest in our training is needed. So you can still use this to our advantage. Yes, it's way longer of a break than anybody would possibly want from a gym, a week or two, maybe tops. But allowing yourself to look at what you're doing, analyze it, progressively overload that, change that, adapt it. Just by doing those things with the gym that I had at home, I've been rather fine. It's more or less finding the motivation to actually make stuff go work out at home. So there I put on some like electric dance music, some house music, some loud something that makes me want to get up and dance and get some energy going. And I start literally talking to myself. I don't do this. I don't have to do the best at it. I don't have to even enjoy doing it, but I have to do it. And, the more you talk to it yourself and the more you change your attitude from I can't to I can, and you focus on the things you can do and not on the things that you can't, that mindset grows and it festers. And then, before you know it, the exercise is over and you feel good and you're moving on to the next one for the next day. So it's more or less that we have to, at this point in our time, get out of our heads. Allow ourselves to reanalyze, replan, reattack, reevaluate. If you fail, go back to the plan, reevaluate, reattack. It's the same way with any other training. When you're at home, allow yourself to have fun. Squat with your kids on your back, put them in a backpack. They think it's so fun that mom and dad can throw them around, do all that kind of stuff. So take advantage of those things. Get creative.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a good message. Now, Kelly, I know you're seeing only yourself. I know that on the broadcast side, we can see that the connection isn't super good, but I'm taking it in, and hopefully those of you viewing live are able to kind of take in enough of what Kelly's saying. But essentially the message is get creative. And I know even in my own training, I love to lift heavy here and there. I don't have enough weights to do what I'd like. But some of these techniques that Kelly's talking about, the supersets, endurance type training, time under tension, these are all creative ways. And I think Kelly would probably even agree that, as much rest as we're getting and all these weird, creative things we're going to need to do, the gym now, instead of becoming that, repetitive, almost monotonous routine day after day, it's going to be quite the shock to the system. So I see some good results coming from when people finally get to the gym and get to use it again. And, it looks like we're talking about, around July that most states and Canadian provinces will have stuff up and running. So should be good. Now, I know that based on the feedback I've seen, tracking stuff on Facebook, even though I'd like to be off it for the most part. But based on feedback I'm seeing, some people are ready to come out hard out of the gates as soon as fitness competitions are back on. They're kind of like you. They're like, I've got a goal. This is happening. I can't wait to get on stage again. But I'd say probably an equal number as far as what I'm seeing. Almost feel like 2020 is a lost year. So what's kept you in the 50% that kind of are motivated and are ready to come out of the gates as soon as things get going again?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of unknown that's going on, and I wholeheartedly believe that there's a lot of. I'm not a very good political person in terms of following TV and watching TV. I don't watch TV very much in the news, but I feel like there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of different ways that are circling around a lot of stuff that's happening right now, even with the protests and the riots. It's very sad that there's so much hurt happening, and it's very easy to slip in despair and look at what's the point, but life goes on. Whether we have a gym open or not, or whether I get to go back to work and train people and do the things that I'm passionate about or not, life still goes on, and we can't allow that to take our privileges, our general rights of living, of being happy, of the pursuit of happiness away. And so if 2020 is a shot out year and we aren't able to have a competition, what did you do with that whole year? Did you learn a new language? Did you play an instrument? What did you do to help better the situation that I'm in? So my view is that we should be growing and moving forward in our lives regardless of things that are happening around us, and it's more as a testimony to help push past all the negative crap and to be an example that we don't have to be a victim of our circumstances. And so I choose to every day look at the light at the end of the tunnel, whereas it's very easy, obviously, to be like, okay, the tunnel's closed, it's not opening until next year. Well, that's still a lot of time that we don't know what's going to happen. And, you could die tomorrow. We could, literally. Are you going to waste the time that you have with your loved ones and everything right now worrying about whether a competition is going to happen? No. Are you going to stop taking care of yourself or not because you're not going to compete? No. If you're a real bodybuilder and you're a real fitness buff, you live this lifestyle day in and day out. This is what you believe. So regardless of whether this year is shot or not, you should still be reaching for your goals and trying to, okay, you might not be able to make muscle gains. Well, what else can you do as a competitor? Maybe work on your posing, come up with a better routine on stage, maybe do some more isolated movements in terms of allowing yourself to have more muscle control when you are on stage, allowing yourself to develop a better relationship with yourself so that way you can be comfortable and connected and present when you're in the moment and on stage and not nervous. There's so many other things that really still come down to being a good and better and to gain person. So why wouldn't we do the same with what's happening right now? We can have time to reflect, and everybody kind of at this point is on a level playing field. I mean, we all kind of don't have gyms. We all don't have everything that we want. And it just is kind of a nice way to see who wants it, who really is, who is this life really important to, right? And to me, I got into the sport to be healthier, and I don't want to be a misrepresentation of that. So I don't ever step away from my lifestyle habits. I might fall off track one meal or two at a time, and we all have our setbacks in life. But the goal is that we love ourselves and we continue to do that. And so I don't, to me, what helps me to, whether I compete in 2020 or 2021 or 2027 or whatever, I'm still going to do the same exact stuff that I did. And I feel like that's really the mentality that we need, because it's not about who I'm going to beat on stage. Everybody wants it just as bad as I do. It just comes down to, what we truly believe in. Are we living that? So I'm trying to do that every day, and hopefully by the time that I get to stage and we have a show, my efforts pay off. And if it just happens to be that we have an extra year on top of that, well, then I just better be that much better.
Awesome. Yeah, I truly wish our connection was better, because I know what you're saying is so good, and we are going to replay this. We are going to share this, and then I hope people will be patient with kind of some of the glitches due to a poor connection, because we can still, I think if people are listening, we're getting some great nuggets out of you, Kelly. It is really about keeping your goals in sight, realizing we're all in the same boat, and there's no reason to kind of look at it as a lost year. Let's keep the goal in sight. If the shows happen, they happen. If they don't, at least you pushed as hard as you could towards it.
Right.
I do have somewhat of a good feeling, at least for the shows that are in October and November. So I think people should at least stay encouraged for now. So I think that's all I kind of wanted to ask. I think you've touched on some really good stuff, Kelly, and I can see Philip Orhan is asking a couple of specific questions, or one. So first of all, he says, "Wow, amazing, Kelly! You put it so perfectly. Who wants it the most?" And I think it's why you are a 3-time champion.
I'm very stubborn.
Yeah, you are one of the people that wants it the most, and that's what this is all about. What can you do to get creative? What can you do to overcome obstacles? Because crazy crap happens in life, and 2020 has proven that. Even right now, in these few days, like how many different crazy things are going on. It happens. But what are we going to do to better ourselves? How are we going to keep our goals in mind? Who wants this the most? But Philip also asks a question. He says, any advice for someone that's competing for the first time in a long time this year? For example, what's the best way to train legs with no gym?
Well, so when it comes to, that's a great question. And I found that in my personal experience, you can train your legs in a couple different ways. I have a hard time keeping my legs lean enough. So I can either allow my legs to atrophy by not training them as much and doing more length training type stuff, which is higher reps, lighter weights, to try to keep them toned and conditioned, but not necessarily add too much mass, and then become unsymmetrical from my upper body. But that's me personally. If you're somebody who's trying to gain weight or mass in your legs, obviously diet is a very important part of it. You can't out-train a poor diet. I have tried prepping many different ways, and diet is key first. So making sure you're getting enough protein, enough of your carbs, to kind of, and meal timing around your workouts is very important. Your second thing, if you're trying to gain weight, you're going to try to add more of a pump, or in terms of more maybe time under tension. So if you don't have enough weight, right, we can always do isometric contractions or timed contractions, to where maybe you're going to do a 1 second contraction and a 3 second release or eccentric contraction, which actually apart a little bit more in terms of the release of the muscle. So you'll get a little bit more of delayed onset muscle soreness if you are releasing the weight with a more control and purpose, I guess, instead of just giving in to gravity. So doing things like isolated workouts, timed workouts, wall squats, genie, I guess I would say, what do they call them? Sissy squats, things that are going to hit specific muscle groups, but also allow yourself to not have to necessarily add a lot of weight, and then just mess with the time. Allow yourself to use partial reps to get a bigger pump. 21s are great, doing the 7 at the bottom of a rep, 7 at the top of the rep, 7 through the full range of the motion. Doing stuff that's going to really flood the muscle with blood and rip it, kind of rip it apart, give you a pump, is going to help also elicit a lot of growth in that area, and repair overnight. And then frequency, right? How often are you working your legs? Like I said, I tend to carry more weight in my legs, so I don't work them out as much. I tend to do one leg day and then one glute focus day. And the rest of my training is more spent around my upper body. So it really just kind of depends. If you're trying to gain more mass in your legs, then I would say flip it around. Do more on your lower body 3 days a week and maybe 2 days a week on your chest or your upper body. And then rotate and do a progressive overload with that, trying to maybe do more time, more reps, allow yourself to, add more sets in, and then progressively overload that. But don't go too hard right out the gate, because then, you don't really have anywhere as an overload to go. So keep it simple. Nice. Pick some basic 3-4 lifts and then do those different variations and you should be fine.
Nice. And of course, Kelly does have an unfair advantage. Her husband is the reigning fitness model champion. He's a pretty big boy himself. She can toss him up over her shoulders and do some squats with him, right? That's a good idea.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
it's probably been a while since. I don't know if I could do that anymore.
But yeah, you're right, and everything you said, it really is about getting creative through all of this. And then you wanted to say something else.
Just educating yourself. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways that you can train, but there are some. Science is science, and hypertrophy there's been shown to have its specific exercises and ranges of motions and why we do those things. So obviously continual education is obviously a very good thing as well. And if you're confused in terms of sensory overload, because there is a lot of stuff out there, reach out to any one of the UFE professionals. I will tell you, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to my husband. We love helping people, because this is how we got here, was other people. We looked at the people who were doing and winning and trying to be the things that we wanted to be, and we would ask them, and we would be mentored by them and suck up their information. And we're an organization here, we're a family, we just want to help. So always coming back to another pro or another person that you can trust is a great thing to do as well, especially within UFE. We're all amazing people here.
Love it, Kelly. So thank you so much for the information. And yeah, as far as reaching out to you on this feed, I've actually posted your Instagram handle so people can get you that way. You're obviously easy to find with your name on Facebook as well. And you actually have the program you used, I believe it was for the 2017 championships. Your exact meal plan and program is on the UFE website. I believe it's under prepare, and then training/nutrition. Your entire 20-week program.
And that's a great program. There. Yeah, it's a very good program. It's killed me.
Yeah, and actually, there's a lot of body weight exercises on there, or exercises that require just very minimal equipment. So yeah, very cool program. So people can check that out.
Even if you do choose to purchase that, you can always, one of the best things about UFE and their programs is you get to directly talk to the person who created it as well. So any modifications that you guys would need for at home, please don't hesitate to reach out, because again, this is how we all just help be better, and it helps that morale build, and it just keeps us all thriving, and as opposed to the opposite. So
awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kelly, and stay safe. And obviously,
thank you, Sean. Sorry.
Now that
yes, you too. You guys better be careful up there.
got the gym. Yeah, now that you got the gyms in Arizona, take full advantage, of course,
Yeah,
right?
yep. I don't know when I'll be going back to Chicago with all that's going on at the moment. I was going to try to head back sometime soon, but it's a little crazy there, so we'll see. It's touch and go. I'm just really praying that we can all get through this and no more violence, no more deaths, no more sickness. If we could just start being on the up and up, that would be great. So
yeah, a little bit more positivity in the world is a good theme, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right, Kelly.
Thank you so much for
Until
your time.
next time, and yeah, and hopefully everybody gets to see you on November 7th.
Oh yes, it'll be awesome.
Okay. Okay. Bye, Kelly.
Bye. Have a great day.